Are you wanting to start a short-term rental in Manhattan, Kansas? It can be a fantastic opportunity. However, if you don't take the right steps, it could cost you time and money if you don't do it the right way. What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. And in today's video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know in order to launch a successful Airbnb here in Manhattan, Kansas, and to ensure that we make your investment a profitable venture. Before you even think about buying a property here in Manhattan for short-term rentals, you need to start with the first and foremost, and that is doing your research on the local regulations and local laws. Every neighborhood has different reasons, different things. You can't just go into any particular neighborhood, pop up an Airbnb, and you're good to go and ready to roll. There are regulations for the way you can run these. There are licenses that you need to do. A great resource for you to look at and go to is follow the city website and check their zoning regulations, check their regulations for rentals and things like that. You will have to register, so make sure you check that one first and foremost, especially if you're buying something that is like a duplex or anything else of that nature. You want to make sure it is a legal and operable Airbnb and short-term rental space. Not every property makes the perfect Airbnb. So how do you choose, right? So making sure that you are going through properties and making sure you have the right opportunity for you and your business is going to be your biggest asset for you. I will tell you that we have multiple Airbnbs here in town. We do a lot of them, and there are certain areas where you don't want to necessarily go to. Being close to campus is fantastic. Being close to the stadium works out really well. Being close to Aggieville works out really well. The bar district and things in this area. Making sure you are doing your research in order to make sure that the neighborhood you're choosing to find a home is going to work for you. One thing I always tell people is think about it this way. If you are going to stay in an Airbnb at this particular town, what do you want to be close to? Which one works the best for you? Then you also need to do your research on what bedroom count works best. We have a lot of 2-bed, 1-baths in this neighborhood. My wife and I own quite a few of them in this town. And we have a lot of 2-bed, 1-baths. But is a 3 or 4 or 5-bedroom a better opportunity for you to rent out and maximize your dollars for your profit? I think one of the big things that people don't look at is they don't do their research. There are a ton of things that you can do, not necessarily specific to Manhattan, but you can look at a ton of different projections and data and all kinds of things that you can look at to make sure that you're buying in the right buy box. And what I mean by that is your buy box a 2-bed, 1-bath? Does that fit the price range that you're able to do? Is it a 3-bed? Is it a 4-bed, 5? And do those price ranges correlate to what you're going to potentially make in that? I think that's a biggest thing that you need to look at when you're running your numbers. How do you decide what you want to do, right? And so then just dive into that. And once you dive into that stuff, it makes the home search very, very simple for you, and making sure that you have that criteria laid out for you and your investment. Quick pro tip to this. If you have a home that is very marketable, very unique, A-frames, log cabins, lake views, cross the street from campus, whatever, if you have a very marketable thing that you can give to your potential guests on Airbnb, it is going to bump you above anybody else, because there are a ton of Airbnbs here in Manhattan. And the way to be successful is to make it very unique and very characteristic of that nature. Now comes the fun part, preparing and furnishing the property, right? I think going through and not skimping on this part is very, very important. My wife does all of the design and all the setup for us, so it works out really well for us. She does do a lot of that for other people as well. But what happens is she doesn't skimp on it. She does a fantastic job of making it very livable, making it very home. When people stay at an Airbnb, they don't want to go to another hotel room. They don't want to be very cold and shut off and everything of that nature. They want to feel like they're at home. Having those essentials, having that the cookie sheets and the cooking utensils and everything else that comes with that is very, very crucial to making sure that you have one of the better Airbnbs in your town and in this town. One of the small details that you're able to bring to your guests is what sets you apart from everybody else. Making sure that you don't have a bed that has a dip in it because it's been used so much. Making sure that your furniture is updated, making sure that you have those blankets, because the cool part about an Airbnb is you can cuddle up with your family at that Airbnb, not like you can on when you go to a hotel room, right? Like, I think there's nuances to that, and giving you that opportunity to kind of show you the difference with that is going to be massive. And doing those little things like diapers. I know when we were traveling with diapers and our kids were in diapers and stuff, it was very important to have everything, but we forgot a lot of stuff sometimes. So having those things, having the pens and the papers and the everything that you might need, a full serviceable kitchen is very important to have these things. So prepping and furnishing and everything else is the fun part, and making sure it has the design is probably one of the most crucial parts. Obviously, I'm very biased, but my wife does a fantastic job, and you can take that one to the bank with that one. And I hope she watches this video. Having your competitive pricing. If you have a 2-bed, 1-bath, and you're pricing it like it's a 5-bed, 3-bath, nobody's going to book that, right? Like, you don't want to have that opportunity. That you want to have, you price it very similar to what it is your 2-bed, 1-bath will be. And again, you're looking at comparables in the market. Yes, I know it's different than selling a house and buying a house and that nature, but it's also the same. And the fact of it is, you have to look at those comparables. There is a ton of data to what you can do to find your comparable listings, what you can find for your being able to make sure that you are not pricing yourself out of the particular market. And again, Manhattan is very similar to every market in the sense that you can do that. You can, if your 2-bed, 1-bath is sitting in the middle of nowhere, but has a fantastic view, well, okay, maybe you can charge a little bit more. But if your 2-bed, 1-bath is sitting in the middle of town and it looks like the 500 other listings that are down the street, you got to do something to differentiate yourself. And I'm talking about price. And I think you have to be aware of what that is. And I think the big key of this is that it changes. Specifically, it changes whenever there's graduations, whenever there's a football game, a basketball game, any event particularly happening in Manhattan can adjust your pricing substantially, actually. And I think that's a big piece, is making sure that you stay competitive on pricing your home for your nightly rentals. Pro tip when doing this, setting your price to be very competitive and very attractive to any introductory. So if you're trying to get super hosts or trying to get your higher ratings and more reviews and things like that, it helps a lot by giving a lower rate to get more stays and to build that up over time. And it helps you get there quicker. So setting that attractive rate, making it lower, is going to help you get those reviews in order to get you to that super host get you to that super host status. Next thing, even the absolutely best property that you could ever create won't book if you can't find it, right? So you have to create that winning listing. Highlight those unique features that you have. Do you have a lake view? Do you have a pickleball court at it? Do you have a basketball court in your house? Like, where is that? And what features are going to make their stay, your guest, their stay, a better thing than what it would be on any other particular property down the street? And I say that by talking about, are you close to campus? Are you close to the stadium? Can you see the stadium from the front yard? Can you walk to Aggieville? What do you have around you that is going to make their stay better than anybody else's in Manhattan? Pro tip, optimizing your title and description is going to help you continue to stay on top of the pile whenever there's hundreds of properties out there that people can choose from. You need to be on that front page. If you're not on that front page, maybe even a little on that second page, you're probably not going to get there, right? And then do your research on what other properties have or don't have and what people want to see whenever they are booking. That's going to be a big thing for you to look at. Next thing is running your operations, running your short-term rental. One of the things that I tell people all the time whenever they're looking to buy here is it's not passive income. I know so many times, oh, it's rental, we'll make it passive, we won't have to worry about it. That's not it. Short-term rentals anywhere, especially Manhattan, but anywhere, short-term rentals are not and will not ever be passive. You have a lot of guest interaction. You have see my wife do it every day where it's, you know, the guest gets locked out. The guest doesn't have Wi-Fi and they need to work. The sewer's plugged up on Christmas Eve. That one's happened to us too. But who is going to manage your property for you? Is going to manage the operations, the day-to-day and everything? And if it's you, great. Understand that there are going to be different nuances to short-term rentals versus long-term rentals. It's not a sign a lease and I'll see you in 12 months. It's a I'm going to turn this over every 3 days kind of thing, right? And I think that's the thing that people don't think about whenever they're looking to purchase a short-term rental and do these kinds of things. It is not passive. It never will be, and it never is. So I think going into it eyes wide open and understanding the process is going to be the most important thing that you can ever do for yourself before you go to purchase. Pro tip, automating your common responses or automating your responses for common questions and things that way can be a huge time saver. Whether you've got 1 or 10, it doesn't matter. Having those automated responses, whenever they check in, whenever they check out, having that ready to go, there's a lot of opportunity for you to automate that, and it's going to take a lot of stress off of you. I promise you that. My wife and I have been running Airbnbs here in the Manhattan market for a handful of years now. We own 7 personally with a business partner, and then she also manages for others as well. I promise you, all of these things are doable, and you absolutely can do it on your own. We love what we do. I love selling real estate. I love getting into the construction side of that one. And she does a fantastic job of doing the management piece of this. This is not a ploy for us or anything else that way. I want to help you find that right property, do the research on that right property, and diving deep into the numbers and understanding what that is. And I can tell you from personal experience, I have taken a duplex. We owned a duplex. We put a full time renter in it. They lived there 100% of the time. They signed a 12-month lease. And then we put a short-term rental on the other side. It was a side-by-side duplex. We literally doubled our numbers on what we were making versus the full-time and the short-term rental. Very quickly, we got the short-term the long-term renter out of there, and we turned it into a short-term rental. It makes sense. If you run your numbers and you do it correctly and you have the right neighborhood and the right places, it makes sense and can make sense for you. Now, all of that said, some of the pitfalls that you will find is that it is more expensive to take a short-term rental and get it ready. You have a lot more upfront costs that come with that. One of the things that I always tell people is be ready for that, because you never think about it, because on long terms it's just, well, here's an empty house, you move your stuff in and they own it for those 12 months. That's not the way it works here. So being ready for those things is some of the things I really want to prepare people for. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have questions about short-term rentals and purchasing those and investments and everything else that comes with that, I'm here to help. I would love to help you find one here in Manhattan. There is still a lot of opportunity here. They are popping up more and more, but I promise you, it is not for the faint of heart. I mean, it can be a lot. And I think that there's an opportunity though, if you want to set yourself above and beyond everybody else, there is an opportunity to really make a good investment here in Manhattan. So if you have questions about short terms or buying any investments or anything that way, I would love to hear from you. My phone number is 785-477-5485. My email is kyle@homesforsalemhk.com. I am I'm here. I'm ready to help you. I can definitely get you taken care of. Or if you are interested in management or talking through that whole process with my wife, you can always reach out to her at her website at willowandruth.com. She would love to talk with you. And if she doesn't, I'll talk to you and I'll kind of work you through everything as well. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions about buying, selling, investing, or anything real estate related, please reach out to me. I would love to take care of you. And if you are enjoying this content, please go and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future content. Give us that like because it does help us grow the channel. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.